Hi, I'm Bruce Martin,
I'm Roger Martin.
and we're making our second vlogcast.
Bruce and Roger make a vlogcast.
Yeah, it's good. I actually, since the last time we talked, I know we've had a lot of our viewers have come up with some really good names. We haven't picked one yet, but I was thinking something like Bruce talks about stuff, and Roger chimes in.
Can I talk now?
Yeah. Hey, did you notice that I've got the big chair this time? So does it make me look more powerful? I think it does. For those of you out in the podcast world that can't see that, I'm in a real tall, comfy throne chair, and Roger is in a
I'm
pathetic
sitting on a box.
little
actually.
box with no armrests or anything. It's not good.
So second episode, we're really doing this thing.
We are rocking it right now. Rocking it.
That's because you are literally in a rocker.
I am in a rocking chair. It's true. So I was thinking there's lots of things we could talk about today. I loved the Facebook Live thing you did this morning. It was something like, this was just great. It was something like the the video that I wish I had done on December 31st, 2019. And
factoid, so Monday through Friday, you're kicking the camera.
Sorry.
Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Central Time. I do a little 8-9 minute video on Facebook Live, and Bruce watched it for the first time in 3 months.
Yeah, it was really good.
Well,
it was it was the title that got me. See, because I don't know about you, but 2020 has not gone at all like I planned, expected, anticipated. It was.
What would you do? Okay, so knowing what you know now, so it's December 31st. What would you do differently?
Well, earlier in the month of December, let's go back a couple of weeks. I wouldn't have spent about, I don't know, $3,000 on speaker marketing because I really wanted to up my game this year, get more speaking engagements for 2020. This was going to be the big year for getting more speaking, and it turns out, well, frankly, you can't speak anywhere publicly in 2020. So I would have, that's one thing that I would have told myself. No, don't do that, Bruce.
I remember you talking about your plans for that. I was so excited, and actually,
I was too.
January was great, and you started speaker registry, and you started lining up things, and church and other groups started calling you, and I was so excited for you.
Got some new events planned. I was so excited that within 5 weeks we're gone. But hey, let's not think about the past. Let's move forward. That's our plan. So that's one thing I would have done different. You know, the other thing, thinking about it now, just right off the cuff, I would have taken a job at a grocery store because they are killing it, or something in the toilet paper industry, because right now they're just rocking along.
I would have bought stock in Zoom.
Yeah, good call.
I think since 2019, I didn't even know it existed. Now I guess I've learned it's been around for a long time, but I didn't even know.
You didn't know Zoom existed?
No.
Well, welcome to the 90s, Mr. Banks.
This would be me, right?
Wow.
My dial-up's not working.
So Roger uses Facebook Live every single day, but had no idea that Zoom existed out there.
Right.
Have you ever heard of Uber? Familiar with that?
I'm familiar, but I've never actually used it. So
knowing what you know now about 2020, what would you have done differently at the end of 2019 or told Roger in December of 2019? And particularly just for fun, hey Roger, don't do this.
Well, it's kind of challenging because
you did it all right this year.
Because the problem is
Roger wasn't affected at all by the whole COVID-19 crisis. Just saying.
I make a living selling things on eBay. So I go to estate sales, I go to auctions, I buy all kinds of intriguing stuff. It can be antiques, collectibles.
Useless trinkets.
it's generally true. But it turns out with this pandemic, people really like the useless trinkets and the games and the hobby stuff and so on. So my sales have actually gone up. So I'm one of those people, that the COVID has actually,
so you
we're
might
doing better off.
You might have told yourself, buy more stuff at the end of last year so you can sell it
Yes.
this year.
So,
I didn't even think about that. Games, even indoor games and puzzles, stuff like that.
all right. So I've got toys and collectibles and anyway, so but the kinds of things that people doing hobbies and whatever. So
I'm glad you're doing well.
no, that
I really am.
and I'm so sorry all of your plans for 2020 tanked.
Well, so far I still have one conference. It's my mom's conference that's coming up in November. She hasn't canceled that yet. So I'm fingers crossed on that one right now. We'll see what happens.
So 2019 going in.
Interesting. I just thought about this. The talk that I'm wanting to do at that conference, should that conference go on, is called "The World You Grew Up In Doesn't Exist Anymore." Isn't that interesting? I had come up with that title before I knew about COVID-19 and everything that we were going to experience. I realized the world that existed in 2019 doesn't exist anymore.
It's funny you say that too. So I was talking to my youngest son a few nights ago, and he just had a good word because he was saying the same thing. You know, he was talking about people saying, "I can't wait till we get back," and he was like, "Time out. We're not going back to then."
Right.
And the point he was making that was very good is living where we are now, because actually one of the things that can set us back is I want to go back to the good old days. I want to go back to when things were like this, and we're missing what's happening now. We're missing the opportunity that's happening now. Yep. We're missing and with just this kind of hopeful that we're going to get back to, but gosh, I know he's right. We're not going to get back.
Right.
Well, some things, there may be some similarities, but we're not going back. So get used to, well, one of the words that Ben is great about, our youngest son, is stay in this moment right now. Pay attention to what's going on right now. Because again, if you're looking too far down the road, or if you're looking back too much, it can get unhealthy.
I wonder if we're still going to be able to shake hands and stuff. I mean, because this is something that I realize that I miss. Because I'm a people person. I love interactions with people. I typically hug people. You notice I'm wearing a free hug shirt. What you can't see is it says free air hugs right now. But I'm a person that loves to just be with people and loves to touch people and hug people. And I realize right now I can't even like thrust my hand out to shake someone's hand because I don't know how. It's just one of those seasons. I'm like, I wonder how that will change the way that we greet each other. Or how long it will take us to get beyond certain things. Like I find myself right now, understandably, in grocery stores because of social distancing. You know, I'm trying to, scooch around people because I don't want them to think that I'm in any way endangering them or not being considerate of them. And so I'm like, I wonder if this will ever change. Will I always feel this nervous going through a grocery store trying to avoid people because it's antithetical to who I am. I don't try to avoid people. I love to go to the store and talk to people and see people. And right now, it's just been weird.
So I don't know if so psychologically, I caught myself several weeks back, like I'm at the post office dropping off some packages, and I'll walk close to someone, so I'm trying not to make contact, and I caught myself holding my breath.
I've done it. Absolutely. Now they don't know you're holding your breath, but we know that we're holding our breath.
Right.
So we're like, hey, I'm thinking of you right now. I'm turning
And it's
blue.
not like anyone, Dr. Anybody has said, hold your breath when you're around anybody else. But I realized without even planning, but it's just, but I'm like you. It would be hard to imagine a world, or that the world could be healthy without physical contact at some point. That part, living in the tension of a broken world, it seems at some point, that's got to come back, or we die a different kind of death.
Yeah. There's a component to social distancing that is kind of antisocial, and it's something that like I said, I hope we don't stay in this place, because I think we do. I think part of what I'm learning, I think what we're all learning is the desire for human connection. So while Zoom and other video platforms can help you connect with people, you have all these different television shows and even reality television shows that are doing it, from their homes, and there's a connecting point there. But I realize what I've been hungry for is face-to-face connection with people, like you and I are doing right now. Just because I've been in a season of I'm doing a video every day for 28 days, taking people through Desperate for Hope. But it's not the same as being with people. Like last night, our small group gathered in the parking lot of Cove Church, and we've got our little chairs all spaced out, like 6 feet apart, and we're gathered around. But I realized I loved that last night, just being together with other people that I could see.
Yeah, real 3D people that yes.
So that was good.
So here's. I've been thinking about this because we can focus. Okay, we kind of had a little fun or thought with some things we planned, and so we're missing or lost out on.
You're about to talk sponsorship, aren't you? I can tell. Roger's always thinking sponsors. I know we need a sponsor. I get that, but that shouldn't be the first thing on your mind all the time.
Right.
So let's just hang on to that. Think about something else we could talk about before we go there.
Before we go to the sponsors. Yeah. Okay. But just be thinking about that because that is sort of important.
Sponsors.
Yeah, that would be good. So, no, I was thinking about what do you not miss? Okay, so a bunch of stuff has changed since COVID. I don't just think of something you haven't missed, or maybe another way, that's something you're sort of liking about this season.
And that was the end of the podcast. And that's an interesting guy.
Oh, here. So here, I have not missed.
Why don't you start, Roger?
So
why don't you tell us what show you want to watch?
So I haven't missed all the polished programming, and so you watch Jimmy Fallon, and he's in his house, and his wife's shooting the picture, and his girls are crawling over him, and they painted the logo for the show. And even I'm looking at just some churches, I'll watch it, and it's not as scripted. It's so there's less of this polish, and I'm very curious if it stays that way. But I just think a lot of people are gonna say, gee, I like that informal. It doesn't all have to be everything just scripted out to a T. I haven't missed that, and it's been just fun watching all the shows that are just winging it.
Yeah, that is interesting. And I wonder, we talked about this before, I wonder how COVID-19 will affect the church overall and the way the church does church. We talked about this a little bit in our small group even. One thing that I'm learning, watching, because again, much of what I do is based on having a building. So whether that's counseling, that's done in a building with people. When I do speaking, that's done with people in a building. It makes me wonder about how many things that are dependent on a building potentially could become obsolete. And what this pandemic has shown is, well, things that have to have a building where people gather, that can be problematic. Now I realize there's ways that groups have gotten around that, but I'm like, I wonder how it'll affect the church in terms of how they deliver the message to people. I guarantee you more and more churches have upped their online game.
Yep.
Probably dramatically. I know we've talked about even how they've had spikes in viewership, understandably.
Yeah, and then you start thinking about even when churches start doing, and some I guess have started, meeting again in their building.
Yeah, a friend of mine sent pictures to me of how they've arranged their auditorium. It looks hilarious. It almost looks like musical chairs because they've got a cluster of chairs here, like 3 across, and a cluster of chairs here with 6, because I think that's like the max. And then there's a cluster of 2 in case it's just a couple coming in. It's just fascinating what lengths, we're going to maintain social distancing, but still do corporate worship.
And I think, who's going to show up and who's not going to, and for how long, and
I never thought about that. Who will not show up? Who will have gotten used to? Okay, this is an interesting thing. So people that had not been watching or experiencing church online, but now have for 6 or 8 weeks. How many of them will go, this is great, I'm just going to keep doing it? Because the church had offered that before. It's always available to them. That's an interesting question.
And
how much will potentially attendance go down and viewership go up?
Right. And one segment of that is going to be people that still have health concerns.
Sure. Right.
But then there's this other segment that you're talking about that I think is going to be there that's going to be, gee, this is,
Here's a burning question that I'm dealing with right now. All right, so all of these millennials that are getting $600 plus a week in addition to what their state pays for unemployment, how are we ever going to get them to go back to work? I mean, seriously, they're like, we are raking in the dough right now. This is great.
Stop the millennial bashing.
I'm just saying.
To be honest, I think there are going to be a number of people in that, and there's this tension. I'm the tension guy, but there's this tension between, I think there are you're right, there are going to be people that are comfortable with, gee, the idea of just getting a check and kind of, which is very, very intriguing as a shift in our culture goes.
The other burning question for me is, and for many in the state of Alabama, by the way, will there be football this year? What do you think?
The way it's going now, I mean, the question further back, let's say for college football, is, are kids going to be on campus? Yeah,
because right now you'd be in spring training and
right. So you got all that's going away,
okay.
but again, will there even be students on campus in the fall? And so if there aren't students on campus, well, the football players are students. Are they going to?
Yeah. Have some campuses already closed next year? I think some have. I can't remember for sure.
Well, I know I have read that's up in the air for a number of schools. That, again, are we going to do on-site? Some people have raised the question, will there be on-site university college as a whole in 2020?
Can you imagine?
No, it's crazy.
I'm talking about the loss of college football, not the academics.
Right.
The kids can do school from home. I get that. But I just don't see a virtual football game. I'm in my living room. Roger's in his living room. I'm going to throw a football at the screen. I just don't think that's going to work.
And for this little sort of virtual fun NASCAR thing they did, whatever.
Did NASCAR do something?
Yeah, they did some virtual races, whatever. And
really?
I'm just saying, really, can you see virtual football?
No, I can see Madden football, where everyone's trying to.
Right, we're gonna watch Peyton Manning play Tom Brady in Madden football.
Let's redo the Super Bowl, Raj. Let's just recreate the whole thing. See what happens. By the way, I will say this: I can't tell you how tired I am of watching games from 4 years ago. I was flipping channels the other day, just looking for just any kind of sports, and I found myself watching, and I was mesmerized by it. The 2016 ALS series baseball thing.
Right.
I don't even know what the ALS is.
All I know.
But I watched it, and I was like, "This is great." It happened 4 years ago, people. So I'm one thing I'm looking forward to is actually watching
something
sports.
I was talking to someone the other day, and they were watching some Korean baseball and a cornhole championship. And I'm like, you're really desperate, bro.
Yeah. Hey, did you know this?
No.
The golf league has started. Okay, so I'm in a golf league. It started, but with some rule changes this year. It's interesting. So they're able to pull this off and still do social distancing.
Wait. So you're playing in a league?
I'm playing in a league.
Okay. What does golf look like? What does COVID golf look like?
All right, so it's very interesting because there's no contact. So you're not shaking hands. You're trying to maintain 6 feet of distance. So everyone has their own cart, which is fascinating. So on every hole you've got 4 carts on every hole. So no one's sharing a cart. There is no rakes in any of the bunkers. So you get a free drop anywhere in a bunker because rakes contact if anyone uses the rake. So there's no rakes at any of the bunkers. This is great. You get a plugged lie, you can just perch it on top of the sand. Like it's amazing. No rulings on that. Here's the other interesting
I'm going to start
thing.
golfing again.
Yeah, exactly. You can't touch the flagstick. So that means you can't take the flagstick out. So what they did is they turned the hole upside down. So if the ball just hits the flagstick, even if it hits it at 100 miles an hour and shoots off the green.
What upside down?
The hole. So the flagstick's in there, but the ball can't go down in the hole.
Oh.
So if the
so
ball...
no one has to reach in the hole.
Yeah. So if the ball touches the flagstick, no matter how fast it's going, even if it caroms off the green after that, it's considered good. I am really putting firm this year, okay?
Bruce has shaved 7 strokes off his score this year.
Well, the bad thing is when you're like, all I got to do is hit the flagstick and you're 6 feet away, so you slam it 25 feet, but miss the flagstick. Now, then it's a problem. So it's helped on some things. It's helping in the bunkers, but you still got to be careful on those, what I call the mid-length putt. So,
we do need to do one of these from a golf course. That would be fun.
I know it would be very fun to do that. And by the way, if you own a golf course out there and you want for Bruce and Roger to come to your course and
sponsor we would promote you your golf club. That would be a great sponsor. Anyone who owns golf courses, we want to talk to you. We can make you a lot of money.
We're not above wearing golf apparel.
Oh, no. No, I can switch this hat out. And this shirt right now, I can...
I'd rather you didn't.
Yep.
No, but that would be... I mean, because right now we're doing it in my office, which is pretty boring. You'll notice that I took the picture down behind us because my son... Well, if you're listening to this, you don't know this, but my son, who notices, like, everything, he said the picture's slightly crooked. And because of that, he couldn't even watch the video. I mean, he literally had to turn away. So if that affected some of you negatively the last time, that's for you right there. No, there's nothing on the wall.
I was thinking, Bruce, that we're just trying to get this whole podcast vibe, but somewhere in here, we should say something, some factoid, something about us. So you mentioned your son...
22 years old.
Tell me about your family. So
22 years old this month. So we have one son. He's adopted. We tell the whole story of that in our book, Desperate for Hope. I'm married to Marlena. We've been married for 36...
Desperate for Hope is our sponsor today.
Yes, it is. And that's why we're still looking for that big corporate sponsor.
Desperate for another sponsor.
That's why we're still desperate for a sponsor. That's right. Thank you for that shameless plug, though. I like that. I see how you work that in. Been married to Marlena for 36 years. I was a pastor at a local church level for 23 years. And I'm in recovery and getting a lot of good counseling now as a result of that. Well, I'm in counseling. I'm sorry.
Recovery's an ambitious term.
It is. Okay.
You've made a little progress, but whoa, there's a long road.
Hey, this is interesting. You know what my entire word for the year was? Do you remember what it was?
Your entire word for the year. Okay.
I started out the year with my first blog. I've been writing a blog post every single week.
Right.
And it started with one word, which is hilarious now that I know what 2020 is looking like.
The word was sponsor.
No, but I appreciate. I like what you're doing there. No, the word was progress. So this year, I was devoted to progress, making progress in some areas. And, January, February, I was killing it.
Yeah, progress was soaring.
We got to March 15th, and somewhere in there,
we got regress.
Right, I did. I actually did a blog post called Detours because I got real sick. And so it was like I couldn't even get a blog post out that week. I just wasn't feeling well at all. Depression had come, and it was just kind of like, eh. So I wrote a blog post. It was a little shorter called Detours, but I'm like, hey, a detour is not a derailment. I kind of just went with that. Well, but 4 weeks later, we were at full tilt derailment. I felt like I'm not making progress on anything right now. Because part of the work that I do as a counselor is I try to help people get unstuck, and I realize I'm stuck. And you know what that was like for me in that. Right. Roger was watching and laughing, but I'm like, it's not that funny, dude.
But after I stopped laughing, I will say, because there was a stretch where it was like hitting a wall, and honestly, on a serious note, I mean, I watched you make an effort. Okay, I'm going to live the stuff I've been writing, and I'm gonna find a new opportunity. I'm gonna look and I'm gonna shift here, and I've been proud of that.
Well, and I got a lot of that. Even I got inspired by Roger. That most Roger has been doing a Facebook. It happens a lot. You're such an inspiration.
I'm to so many people.
I could break out into a Chicago song right now.
Don't. We might sing it at points, but
you're the inspiration.
It's too early.
It's too early. No, we're trying to get listeners right now. But Roger's been doing a Facebook Live every morning at 7 a.m. for like almost a year and a half now. So when I hit that point where I realized, hey, I can't do any speaking engagements this year, the Scars of Hope speaking tour, that's not going to happen. Bad year for a speaking tour. So I'm like, all right, I don't do this.
It was a fun idea.
It was a great idea.
Till March.
It was a great idea. Till mid-March. When the tour came to a screeching halt. It became more of a tour of duty at that point. So I started doing 28 days, calling it the Journey of Hope, 28 days of live videos. And then I had to move this week to pre-recorded videos because Facebook Live changed all the rules.
More detours.
Literally overnight. I'm like, I can't even go online. But that was a shift that I had to make. And I think everyone's having to do that. Here's another thing I thought on and off that subject, because we need to hear about you, Roger.
Oh, no. Go on with something else, yes.
No, I'm thinking about all the people that are working at home right now because they're getting used to work. I talked to someone in my small group last night, and they've been now given permission to work from home till January 31st, and they're like, I kind of like it.
Wow.
Yeah, they're like, this is great, because I can work on this thing really, really hard, get this thing done, and then I can go out and mow the yard. And then I can come back in.
Oh, I've talked to several.
And do a thing again.
No, I've talked to several people that are in that same. Yeah.
Read an article this morning that talked about one of the big credit card companies that owns buildings in downtown Manhattan, and how those buildings have been emptied with people working at home, and now they're wondering if they're going to be able to fill them up again.
Nope.
Fascinating. So many people are working from home.
I'd guess that industry. I was actually a few days ago. I was feeling bad for people who are investors in buildings. Because that world is changing. And again, thankfully, that's not what I'm in once again.
You have a building there, don't you? Tell them about, Roger has like multiple houses. I just want you to, it's not what you think, but Roger, what?
My wife Joy and I.
There you go.
Have a fun little 800 square foot house in Huntsville, and
it's actually much smaller than that sounds. Just letting you know.
And around the corner, came across another house, same floor plan, a block away, and that's our vacation home.
It's not his vacation home.
It's actually
they've never vacationed there.
Where I do eBay, so it's we sometimes call it the eBay house.
So your work actually does demand a building, a warehouse in essence,
right? Which I own, and it can be retrofitted for people living in it,
just for fun. for people that don't know you as well as I do, how much did you pay for your quaint little house? You're gonna love this.
Well, we paid $8,900 because we waited a week for the price to drop from $9,900.
You did not mishear that. $8,900. Okay. Now I will say this:
it needed some work.
They overpaid. I know that's hard to imagine, but this small little 800 square foot house had the roof was largely that blue tarp that you see over firewood in the winter. That was the roof line on this house.
And the siding looked sort of like firewood. It was a project.
It was a project.
We worked on it, and
great job.
We love it.
And Marlene and I bought a little house next door to that house.
That's true.
That we fixed up. Also overpaid radically. So
you fixed up?
you and I fixed that up together. And,
All right.
And
That's how you see it.
Roger did most of the work. I tore some things down. I did. So
Which you're very good at.
I just got that notification again that said you're running out of time. I don't know what it is with my phone. Once you hit like the 30-minute mark, it warns you that you're running out of time.
That's right. We're at 30 minutes.
But
Having so much fun.
But it doesn't turn off yet. But I'm thinking maybe we should wrap it up.
So real fast, I'll tell you about my family. So we have, my wife Joy and I have 4 kids. We have 8 grandkids. None of them live in Alabama. They live in Kansas and Connecticut. And the biggest bummer probably right now with COVID is really we can't travel to see them. So we don't know when we can make that plan. Don't bring that up with my wife because that's a really sore subject. But that's one thing you may not have known about me.
And how many years were you a pastor?
Oh, gosh. I don't even remember. It was over more than 25 years.
Well, yeah, you did it before I did.
Right. So it was a long time.
It was probably 30 years. I mean, like, he was probably 30 years.
So.
That's a lot of counseling.
I managed to avoid counseling because anytime I had a counseling kind of opportunity, I would just give some inane